Welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast, a place to discuss pain, passion, and pursuits.
Let's get it. I want to feel alive.
Breathe.
Make some moves.
Protect the throne. This is Sexy Freedom Media Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast. It's your host, Helen Edwards.
And January Liddell.
What's up, January? Nice to see you.
Oh, it's good to be back, Helen. How are you, my friend?
Doing absolutely wonderful. And I'm excited to talk about our topic today, which is random acts of kindness.
Yes, that topic is an amazing topic to talk about at any stage of our, of the year. However, because it's December and it is the Christmas season, usually this time of the season, people are a lot kinder to each other. So let's talk about random acts of kindness. Some of the things that I was thinking about, Helen, is who should we be kind to?
It's a great question because you really can't be kind to everybody. I'm just kidding. No, I think who should you be kind to? Well, the first person you should start with is yourself. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. So be kind to yourself. I was just talking to a good friend of mine yesterday, and we're talking about self-care. So every week we meet, we talk about self-care. We're doing this 1 minute pause every day. So that's our goal. That's been our goal for the past, I think, 4 months now. 1 minute pause. When we talk about how, we should take a breather, because sometimes our lives get so busy and hectic. And I know it was yesterday for me. It was like boom, boom, boom. And I didn't even give that like 1 minute. So I was not kind to myself yesterday because I didn't do my 1 minute pause. However, today is a new day. So today I will definitely be taking that 1 minute pause and doing self-care for myself. Okay, so number one, be kind to ourselves. Who else should we think about being kind to?
Well, I think kindness can be so hard when you have obstacles in front of you. And when I say obstacles are your moods, your emotions for that day, or maybe, the people around you, you think maybe they're not deserving of your kindness. But I think what's really important is if you can show kindness to yourself, and that kindness to yourself kind of ripple effects to everybody around you. So let's just say you have some people around you who are kind of annoying you, and you're thinking to yourself, I can't even stand this person. Like, how am I going to be nice to them? Well, there's the fake it till you make it, right? But that's not authentic. But then there's the simpleness of just protecting your peace. And by doing that in itself, by protecting yourself, protecting your throne, yes, queen, mind, body, soul, you are showing kindness to the other person just by withholding the lashing of the tongue. That in itself is kindness. I just want everybody to know that kindness doesn't always have to be an action towards somebody that you feel that isn't deserving, but it can be just protecting your peace and withholding the action of anger, resentment, or just being upset and frustrated towards somebody.
Ooh, okay, that was really good, Helen, because you're right. Kindness starts from within. And so as we were talking about this, this morning, the kindness to self is really the first thing that we really should do, is be kind to yourself. Because if you're not kind to yourself and you're not saying those positive words of affirmation to yourselves, but you're talking negative thoughts, okay, that's not being kind to yourself. So how can one be kind to another person if you're not kind to yourself first? And so I like what you said, Helen, that we should watch what we say to somebody else, right? And watch what we think too, like, pay attention to what you think of others, because what you say, what you think projects out to that other person. So absolutely, be kind in your way of thinking and watch out like what you say. Because our mouth, you're right, our mouth, our tongue can be what is that thing? There's a term. Our tongue can be a weapon.
Yes. It could be a sword.
Yes, it could be a sword. So we need to be mindful of what we say.
Is it sword or sword? It's spelled sword.
Oh my gosh, now I'm thinking what swords. Sword. Sword. I'm thinking of a lightsaber, Helen.
Yeah.
Me and my Star Wars. Yeah, so be kind in our thoughts to somebody else. You know, the other thing, Helen, and you and I were just talking about this before we got on. There are things going on in people's lives that we do not know about. And we may think we know our best friends. We may think we know, the ins and outs of our closest friends. And when it all boils down, or our siblings, right, or somebody that's close to us, we may, like our husbands, our wives, our boyfriends, or girlfriends, and we may think we know them, but deep down, I feel like in everybody's mind is this forest. It's this forest of different thoughts and different things that somebody is going through. So it's easy to project kindness to somebody who's being kind to us. It's more importantly to project kindness to somebody who isn't. And
oh yeah. Yeah, and I'm just going to touch on that. So when we talk about random acts of kindness, you got to remember the word random in front of it. That's an act of spontaneity. There's this curiosity in your spirit that's like, I wonder what it'd be like to go out and sprinkle magical kindness on this person, because I feel like, just from my own personal experience with random acts of kindness, it doesn't come from a place of ego, but rather the spirit, the soul, something deeper inside of each of us that just randomly does this kindness energy, spreads it around. And when it's random, when it's spontaneous, sometimes you're not even thinking about it. There's no plan of action here. It's random. And it can come from such a cool place that you never expected it to come out of. I mean, you could just be like, you know what, I'm going to give that waiter, that server, $100 today as a tip. And it's not even December. It's, February or March. And you just feel this ignite, this fire inside of you, this passion, this desire to just be kind to somebody today. And that's where the random spontaneity really comes in, from your spirit, from that divine source within. Do you feel like that, January?
I do. You're right. The spirit is more authentic than our ego. And so when the spirit acts out, because there are moments where I'm going to talk about my daughter. Okay. So, and I think I mentioned her before. We were going to 7-Eleven and I was focused on going in and going out. Okay. So sometimes I get very tunnel vision. So I'm like, okay, go in. Go. But my daughter noticed this guy, sitting off the side. And Helen, I did not see him. I'm sorry, because I need to go in and out. But she saw him and she asked me, Mom, can we get him something? And it wasn't like, she's not posting this on social media. She's just, from her heart, from her soul, she saw that somebody needed help. She saw that this guy is slumped over, he's sleeping, he doesn't have any money. Well, we don't know that, right? But we know that he's not dressed in a clean, type of way. And she just said, can we buy something for him? And of course I said yes. And she got whatever she wanted to get for the guy. We put it in a bag and he was still sleeping, and she put it right next to him. So there was no words exchanged, but the simple idea of, I want to give something to this random person that I don't know, but I feel needs help. Like that to me was so authentic, and it was so real. And it wasn't like, I told her like, go do this, or, you know, or she needed to like prove something to somebody like that she did this, you know? So yeah, absolutely. Definitely comes from the spirit when it's real. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Your daughter's amazing. I love when you talk about her and her stories. One of the things that just reminded me of is I used to work for a Sprint store way back in the day, about 13, 15 years ago. And I remember somebody gave me $100. And when I say somebody, it was somebody I was seeing. They gave me $100. And I remember I was so excited about this $100. And I was working in the Sprint store, and outside of the store was this van that broke down. And this girl came in and she said, "Oh my God, we need some help. Does anybody have any money for gas? We're traveling." And I just immediately felt this excitement to help them and give. And so I didn't have $100, you know, we didn't have cash in the drawer to break 100. So I just gave her the $100. And I remember the guy I was seeing was so upset. How could you give them $100? Like, they're just, you know, using you. And he made some really great points, because when it was all said and done, they did trick me. They did scam me. However, I remember thinking to myself, it wasn't about what they did. It was about what I did. And I was a believer back then that, you know, if I give it out to somebody, it's going to come back. I just know it is. And I can't tell you how many times that I've done acts of kindness like that with financial, with money that I've had, with financial, with money that I've had, and I've just given it. And when that random act of kindness came back to me, and I remember somebody called me and they said, "I want to just gift you $7,000. And I was like, what? Why me? Like, why not, you know, this charity? Why not this, you know, these people that could use it? No, we prayed about it and we just feel like you're doing so good in life. And we feel this is where it's supposed to be." And I just was like, wow. So those random acts of kindness are going to come back. If you put out love, if you put out, you know, heart, you're going to get love and heart back. If you put out happiness and smiles, you're going to get happiness and smiles back. If you put out money, you're going to get money back. You know, it's just the law of the universe.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you touched on that. And it's not that we're expecting something in return, right? Because that's not even like the idea. The idea, and I liked what you said, it wasn't about the person. It was about you. It was about what your spirit was telling you to do, you know? And I like the fact that you said, yes, I did give this 100, but guess what? I got 7,000 back. Oh my gosh, hello. So I do believe in karma. I believe in karma. I believe whatever you put out will come back. That could be good and that could be bad, right? So it goes both ways. And you're right. It's this energy, and I can't even explain this energy, Helen, but I can feel it radiating. So when your heart tells you to give, and your heart is like urging you, like, just give, like what happened to you, you know, you just had this urge to give, that will eventually come back to you tenfold. I don't know how that magic works, but it does. So there's this website that I've been checking out, and it's randomactsofkindness.com. And randomactsofkindness.com talks about making kindness the norm, especially now, right? Because we've gone through a lockdown, a pandemic. A lot of people, and I know we've touched on this in previous podcasts, a lot of people have changed because of what we've gone through, the experiences we've gone through. So now more than ever, making kindness the norm is really a revolution that I really hope that we will strive towards, because we can do it as a society. I'm like meshing my words. As a society, we have the capacity to do that. It's just a matter of getting out of our mind, getting out of ourselves, or what is that saying?
Get
Helen?
out of our heads,
There
get
we
out
go.
of our own way.
Yes, get out of our own way. Exactly.
Mhm.
So that, yeah.
I'm going to read a couple random acts of kindness I found online, and we can just talk about a few of these because I think they're pretty cool. So it says, here are 10 random acts of kindness that you can perform. Feed a stray, a little dog or cat, buy extra at the grocery store and donate. That's pretty cool. Donate used toys. Buy from a brand that supports women's empowerment. Spend time with elders. Treat the less fortunate person to lunch. Compliment someone on their work. Donate books to the nearest school. Those are just 10. Let me see if there's any more. Help someone cross the road. Be kind to yourself, which we stated before. So there's 10 of them there. Just if you have any questions about what you can start, what you can do, all of those are free to do. I mean, if you have some books just collecting dust, donate them to a school, to a library, and I'm mentioning these so that way maybe you can plant a seed that, you can randomly do it one day when you're having some downtime and you're just like, you know what, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to just write notes and pass them out to people and just tell them that you are worthy, you are loved, you are wanted in this world, things like that.
You sent me something and I love it, in Instagram, and it just made my day. I'm going to tell you that, like, every little thing that you send me on Instagram, and it's with a video, and then, you said like, you're amazing, or you are a queen, you're beautiful. That really does touch me. Okay. So I want to say thank you, because that just made me feel so loved and appreciated. Just even something as simple as that. So you're right. There's so many free things that we can do to somebody randomly, right? One of the things, though, that I'd like to point out is that we have to be kind to our families. Okay, so that's like the one. We can be so kind to so many strangers and other people, but when it comes to our families, there are moments where we are not kind. Okay, I think the reason being is because there is an emotional attachment, right? And there are different experiences that we go through with our family members. But really, I feel kindness should start from the home. Okay, so start from the home, and we'll expand on that. But random acts of kindness talks about being kind in your home, in your school, in your workforce. So let's talk about home first. Helen, I know I saw you smiling, so I want to touch on why you had that reaction of being kind in our home.
Okay, so I have a son, but he's grown now, right? He's in the military. So the only other person in my home is me and my fiance, and I love him to death. He's the most amazing man, most kindest. I mean, I'm so fortunate that the divine universe put us together, because he is that Hallmark Lifetime movie, romance movie man, and I got him. However, I'm a woman with ever-changing emotions and hormones per week. And I always feel bad for him because he's been consistent from day one. Whereas me, I have a lot of battles with myself and with my emotions every day. Some days they're consistent, they're great, I'm on like the high road. And then some days I just don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be talked to. I don't want to be touched. I just want to be left alone. And I have to really, really dig deep to be kind and show him love, because he is a Leo and he wants affection, and he wants, he's an extrovert. He wants a lot of, time with me because he loves me so much, which I love. However, when it's those days where I just like shut down and I want to just be by myself and not, bothered, it's those moments where I have to tell myself, you know what, I love him and all he's doing is showering me with love. The least I can do is dig deep inside of me and just say, I love you. Ooh, let me breathe through this. Because I don't want my what I'm going through in my inner world to ripple effect to him and his great moods, his excitement and joy for being with me, and I think that's one thing we have to remember is when you're like this and they're like that, how do you meet in the middle? How can you meet in the middle without destroying somebody who's just all they do is love? It's just love.
Oh my goodness. Yes, because there are several days, right, that you're not going to be at the same energy, right? The same like loving, affectionate energy. And you're right. It's that time that you have to stop and pause. And a lot of this it takes practice. We're not going to get it right away. So catching ourselves, that's like the first step is catch yourself. Okay, what energy am I feeling right now? And is my spouse's energy, my fiance's energy, my children's energy, are they happy? And if I am not so happy, then what am I going to do to not necessarily match, but not bring them down as well, right? So I completely understand. So catch yourself and catch the energy that you're projecting out. Really is all about energy, right? Right, Helen?
Totally. Okay, I'm gonna pause 1 second. I think I have somebody right now. UPS guy. Yes, Christmas gifts are in.
Oh my God, yay, it's Christmas. I
love
swear
these
there's an Amazon box. I feel like it's Christmas. I get Amazon boxes at least once a week. I'm like, oh, Christmas.
Yeah, and it's super snowy outside. So when I hear somebody drive up, I can hear them going through the snow. That like snow sound.
Cool. So cool. Yeah, like the fluffy sound of like
Yeah, the fluffy
snow
sound.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
What were you saying? I can agree with that whole energy, trying to shift your energy to match somebody else's. And going back to the topic of the day, random acts of kindness, there's random where I just want to shower my loved one with something in the home, cook them a meal, wash their clothes. It goes back to, and I'm going to really encourage everybody on this, the 5 love languages. If you know their language of love, especially the first 2, then you know how to communicate your love and kindness to that person. And if you have never heard of the 5 love languages, I suggest going on Google, looking it up, taking the quiz, and find out what your love language is and share it with the people in your home, because that is a game changer. Have you done it? Have you done the quiz?
Yeah, I did. But I feel like I need to redo that love language again because I've evolved. I'm not that same person like 10 years ago. So I did want to touch on the 5 love languages. So for my husband and I, he is, I think it's affection and quality time, which is similar to mine. It's affection and quality. Oh, I think mine's before it was words of affirmation. And so, one of the things, so Sam and I have been together for almost 19 years. So it's 19 years of being together, and things can get really, if you don't put the work in, right, it can get really stale. Like, you're just doing them like mundane things, right? And since this revelation of what he's going through, and I know I talked about this on a podcast, he's been diagnosed with PTSD and he's going through a lot of like counseling. And I feel like that has helped him, a lot. It's helped us a lot, and anyway, we have this like newfound love for each other. Okay, so now it's like back to square one. And that's a possibility. Okay, you can press that reset button if you want, with your significant other and say, okay, look, I don't like how this energy is going. Let's reset. Okay, so sometimes being kind to our significant other can be work, can be work. Okay, so that's number one. And I know we're talking about like being kind, period. So being kind in the work, and I'm sorry, in home, being kind at home. And we're talking about random acts. One of the random acts that I've done for my husband is like, just text him like, hey, you look sexy, or hey, you look handsome, something so small. And yet that phrase, like what you have done, Helen, can mean the world to somebody who's not feeling like they have that energy, or that, like they're not in that space of positivity. But even that little tiny phrase can just uplift somebody, So
Absolutely.
what other things can we do? I know there's, being kind at home, being kind to our spouses, our fiancés, our children. But now let's talk about being kind to others, like random others.
Yeah, I wanted to say one other thing about the at home that my fiance does for me. He will sometimes, not sometimes, a lot actually, he just grabs me and starts dancing with me in the kitchen, in the living room, in the bedroom. And I love dancing, but when I'm trying to talk to him, or I'm just like going from point A to point B and I'm on a mission, because I'm a Virgo, I got strategies. Okay. I'm trying to get through the house to get a shirt to go back to the, and he just grabs me and I'm just like, what, like you've interrupted my flow of things. But then I think to myself, how much I desired this when I was in all those negligent relationships, or those abusive relationships, or those relationships that just were going nowhere. How much I used to dream of somebody just grabbing me and dancing with me. And now I have that. And I'm like, and that thought alone melts it away. And I'm like, this is his random act of kindness to me. So yeah, if you are in the home, grab your kids, grab your loved one, and just start dancing randomly. And that will change somebody's state of mind like immediately.
Girl, yes. So I love dancing myself, as you know, and I love that random, like that pause. So, for, like I said, Sam and I are on this like newfound journey with each other, and this is simple. Okay. So he'll see that I'm cold, and he'll either like get me a blanket. I'm not saying anything. So he'll just get me a blanket, or he'll turn off the AC. And that's simple, so simple. Like I didn't even ask him, but he's at least being thoughtful to how I'm feeling, so there's a lot of simple things that we can do in our relationships that just, can flourish. So once we're kind in our homes, right, it gives us the ability to be like, oh my gosh, okay, this is loving and we're in a good space. Okay, let's move on to the next, right? So now it's like, being kind somewhere else. Okay. So like in school, right?
Or
And
work. Oh,
Mhm.
work. Work's a big one, especially if you are that type of person that just hates your job and have that energy of, I don't want to be here. When you have that energy, and trust me, I've had that energy so much in my past life, you spread that. Like I said, your energy is going to be a ripple effect. And then when it's a ripple effect, guess what? The tide goes out, the tide comes in. You're going to attract what you are. So how do you change that? And I can tell you from my own experience, random acts of kindness. I remember working, one of my favorite places I worked is when I started becoming friends with all the women I worked with, all of them. And I was the fun one. On our break times, I would start working out. At my desk, I was working out, and they would say, you're so weird. But guess what? That weirdness, that random act of kindness that I did for myself was giving them inspiration to start doing it themselves. So they started working out at their desk. And then I always was making jokes, always having a quote, even if it was funny or a dirty quote. I just had something to say. And I was like, guess what? Guess what? And then I tell them whatever it was, just to make them laugh. Random act of kindness right there when you make somebody laugh. Do you agree, January?
I do. So when you're at work, because we're at work majority of the time, kind of like my kids, right? They're in school 6 hours out of the day. So we're in work majority of the time of our day. So really we need to make that a space for us to actually really have fun and enjoy. And You know me, I'm all about fun as well. So this is why you and I connect so well, because we're like all about fun, but we're also all about like business, and we can get into that mind frame. But yeah, absolutely. I think in the workforce, especially. So one of the things, because I work from home, right? But I have colleagues that are all over the country. And so we see each other on Zoom. And so, even though we haven't hung out in person per se, the way that we interact with each other is we call each other, we Zoom with each other, and just like how you and I do this, Helen, and we have fun, we have fun. And when we see each other in trainings, it just makes it more, personable, and it's a lot lighter. And you've heard that phrase, when it doesn't feel like work, and you're working all this and doesn't feel like work, that's like the best scenario, because it's fun. It's all about fun, and shoot, we only have one life to live.
Exactly. And I was going to bring up the random acts of kindness to your friends. Your friends are gold because they've chosen to be your friend. They've chosen to be in your circle. They've chosen to devote time to listen to you when you vent, when you talk about your day, your problems, your happiness, your relationships, your kids. Friends are, they're the best. And for me, people in my friend circle, I really try to show them my appreciation, especially through random acts of kindness. That can be sending them gifts. That can be sending them, like what you were saying, sending them videos, telling them how important they are, telling them you are a queen. Yes, queen. Yes. It's important for me to let my friends know that I appreciate them and that I'm basically trying to buy their love. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, but they love when I show them appreciation, because who doesn't like getting appreciated,
So here's the thing about friends. Okay, so family, you cannot choose your family. Family, you're born into. Friends can pick and choose who they want to be friends with. And they just so happen to choose me, right? And it's like, wow, you chose me to be your friend. Like, and then even though I can get ugly at times, and even though I can be like, I don't know how to say, like ugly, fabulous. Okay, ugly, fabulous.
Ugly, fabulous.
That's my new word, ugly, fabulous.
I love it. I'm using it.
They still love me. They still love me, and they still check on me, and that's golden. Like you said, it's golden. It's a different type of, relationship. So yes, be kind to your friends. And I appreciate the friends that that say, hey, can we go out? I'm like, yeah, girl, let's go. I want to go out. And, they're sending like the time and the space, and time is the most precious gift that anyone could give to anybody. That is a random act of kindness right there, is giving your time, because time is money. I know that sounds like cliche, but it really is, because we can all be earning money during that time of, spending time with our friends. But we decided we're going to be spending time with our besties.
Yes, queen. So I want to wrap it up, but I want to share something before, and it's basically the benefits of being kind. And this is really important because it's scientifically proven, just saying. So acts of kindness can make the world a happier place for everyone. They can boost feelings of confidence, being in control in a good way, happiness, and optimism. They may also encourage others to repeat the good deeds they've experienced themselves, contributing to a more positive community. This is big.
Girl, 2 snaps. Yes, because we are trying to have a kindness revolution. And in order to have that kindness revolution, a pebble must drop in the water to enable it to have this ripple effect. And once we do that ripple effect, we will have a more kinder, more gentler, more understanding society. But one of the things is to get out of our heads.
Absolutely. Well, January, I really enjoyed this podcast. I feel like I've said the word kind like 1,000 times now. And in saying it, I feel like I planted my own seed and sprouted a new tree to give. So I just love that you offered this idea and that we did this. And I can't wait to hear from our audience, what your random acts of kindness that you've put out there, how it's touched your lives. We'd love to hear how maybe somebody else's random acts of kindness has changed or shifted your perspective or touched your life as well. We love also your reviews. So I'm going to say thank you now to that random act of kindness that you, our audience, has decided to make by leaving us a review on iTunes or Spotify or even our Facebook page, Sexy Freedom Media, or just shared and subscribed. We love that. That would be a kindness to us. If you decide to leave a review, not if, when you leave your review, please leave your Instagram handle so that way we can give you a shout out, or your Facebook handle. We want to also say thank you and show our gratitude back. So January, any last words?
Yeah, so I do want to share a random act of kindness that we did, my son and my daughter and I did this past Monday. I don't know why, I was just feeling like I wanted to be kind, just like, the $100 that you gave. I bought flowers, just a bouquet of flowers, and I just started passing it out to just random people just because. And the first person, did you do that? Okay, so the first person that I gave it to was the cashier. And she's like, for me? I'm like, yeah. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. Like the face, like their face when they got it was like priceless because they weren't expecting it. So my daughter gave one, my son gave one, and I swear, like, just that whole energy, that whole space was like so loving and so amazing. It was beautiful. So yes, please do a random act of kindness. That is the challenge. That's really my
so wild that you mentioned that, January. Literally this morning, I was in the shower thinking about when I had done that and how I really should do it again, because it did make me feel so good and made others feel good. And when you said, I was like, shut up, we're soul sisters, okay? We are connected.
See, this is
all right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching on our YouTube page, Sexy Freedom Media, or listening on our podcast platforms. And again, we appreciate subscribing, sharing, and reviewing. And if you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to any of our platforms. Thank you. Ahiye.
Mahalo. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Aloha, everyone. Thank you.
Yes. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Want to hear more?
Visit us at SexyFreedomMedia.com.